right now. Right now, I want to get into the story that has been dominating social media and dominating American popular culture for the last 2 weeks now. Seems like it's just not going away. I want to get into this. Here we go.
Are you related to Luda?
No. So there was a crossroads where we were both invited to an Illuminati thing, and it had to be one or the other of us, and decisions had to be made. So it was both of us. We were equal. One of us had to cut off all their hair and couldn't do the sideburn thing no more with the points. And the next person, they said, was going to get $200 million because they were going to pay him $10 million a movie to do 20 movies. And that's how the conversation happened. One of those persons turned out to be Ludacris, and the other person turned out to be Katt Williams. Now, one person ended up with a light-skinned, ugly-faced wife that's never done it. Remember I told you that if I say that, it applied to 7 people?
Yes.
It's part of what they give you. Okay? I didn't get it. I'm not mad about it.
How much money they give? 200?
Sir, Fast and Furious is on what number right
10.
now?
200 million. I might get me one of the more women look the same.
That's what they all end up saying at the end of the day. Kevin told you he wasn't going to wear no dress until they offered him the dress, and then he put it on. And what did he say after he wore it? I made my own decision. Duh. But you didn't make it before they brought it up, did you?
Woo-hoo. Yes, the whole internet, the whole world seemingly been talking about Katt Williams. Jesus Christ, this man done set the entirety of the internet on fire with his interview with Shannon Sharpe. Uncle Shay Shay, I'm a big fan of his podcast. I'm a big fan of Shannon Sharpe, have been since he was a player. Best tight end ever, in my opinion. But yes, Katt Williams talking about Hollywood. It's funny how many times doing this show that a lot of the biggest topics seem to intersect in some way. Because Katt Williams, this interview comes out right before the Epstein list comes out. And so he even references Epstein. We'll talk about that later. But the overriding theme is that there is a machine, a cabal, entities that are behind the scenes that are controlling everything we see and hear in American popular culture, in our politics, in our society, that we are being manipulated as such. Now, I talk about this all the time. It's one of the reasons why I tell you guys to deprogram yourselves from the corporate media, deprogram yourself from Fox News, deprogram yourself from MSNBC, from CNN, from ABC, CBS, NBC. I prefer independent journalism, or I watch a lot of international. I usually aggregate when it comes to news. If I get a story from CNN, I will try to get the story as well from the UK Guardian or from the Associated Press or from, Al Jazeera. I'll go to RT, I'll go to Al Jazeera, I'll go to the BBC, Reuters. To me, I think you have to go to a consortium of news sources. There's actually a new one that does that for you, that aggregates news, called Ground News. It's really good. Like, if you look for a particular topic or person, they will give you the right-wing outlets, the left-wing outlets, and the center outlets, and let you decide for yourself which ones you want to engage with. So, I think it's ground.news, a really good news site. But the thing that's really important about this interview with Katt Williams that I'm seeing is that it goes back to, once again, this idea that we are all being manipulated. We are all being manipulated. That the people that are being elevated as the most talented people, they are not necessarily the most talented people. they are the people who have been willing to sell their souls to get into Hollywood. They are the people who've been willing to play ball with the right people and sometimes compromise themselves in ways that many of us would view as incomprehensible, reprehensible, should I say? Yeah, reprehensible. I think is more the speed here. And so, to me, I think it's very important to talk about that, because so much of what we have is in the black community, what we ingest comes from entities that are not owned and controlled by us. These entities that prop these people up as the most talented, the funniest, the best singers, the best rappers, the best whatever, these are not the most talented people. I tell people all the time, I went to Emerson for 7 years, studied music. I went to school with singers who could sing Rihanna and, Britney Spears and all these people under the table. You can't tell me that these people are the best singers. I went to school with girls who could roll out of bed in the morning and out-sing anybody on the pop charts just about. Boys, too. Some of my classmates, Nate Wayne, Blazed, all those guys won the Showtime at the Apollo, the amateur. I think they won it 2 or 3 times in a row in New York. We produce people like Jesse Powell, Trina and Tamara. Those types of great singers in this city that can just leave here and automatically out-sing everybody on the pop charts. But what did the people on the pop charts do to get that record deal? What'd they do to get those tracks that everybody in the industry want? Why'd they give it to you? How'd you get your spot on the radio? And so it was a very compelling interview. He talked about that. One thing that really, I agree with much of what he talked about, but one thing that's always sort of rankled me a little bit is the concept of men in dresses and sort of this belief that it is only black men who wear dresses. I didn't tend to agree with him there, but I'll let you hear him talk about it for himself. I thought this was absolutely hilarious.
I mean, but some of these people...
Martin tried to put me in my first dress. When he had to go on his hiatus, he tell me, Katt, when I come back, I need you. You my young partner, you my brother in comedy. When I come back, just promise me that my next movie, it'll be me and you. We gonna do it together. We gonna do some buddy cop-ish. I said, Martin, you got my bird, my nigga. Go do what you got to do. When you come back, I'm in your movie. Don't trip. I don't need to see the script or nothing. We get in that office and this fool pull out Big Mama's House 2. I almost died. And I got to read this script from all these good white people. Where this nigga want me to get in a dress with him. And I'm literally saying to everybody, why is he in a dress again? You already played the old lady as an FBI agent. We can play anything now. We can be playing a dog catcher this time. Why do we need to be in a dress? And I get so...
Why is he in the dress? I love how he said that. Oh, man. But I've heard that theory many times before about the idea that to emasculate black men in Hollywood, that they make them wear dresses. Dave Chappelle actually talked about it on Oprah. This is him talking about it.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, why all these brothers got to wear a dress? This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
the movie's going good.
Martin Lawrence
So I
again.
walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in. The writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And he put this dress on. And, huh? What? A prostitute? No, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave. Listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. You know, the pressure comes in. Huh? He said, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't need to wear no dress to be funny. What am I, Milton Berle? You know, we're going like this. And then finally he's like, and he leaves. And then, like, the director comes, Dave, it really would be great if you wear the dress. What is wrong? What is this, Brokeback Mountain in here? So then, wear the dress. I don't want to wear the dress. I want to wear this dress. You know what I mean? This is, oh, gosh, this guy's so difficult. They leave. Now the producers comes, come on, David, would be so great. I mean, and then I started thinking about it. All the comics that I've seen, man, you know, strong brothers, why they putting us in these dresses? But the minute it was clear, I was adamant, I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine. Think of something else. Guy comes back 10 minutes later, the whole new scene. Hot damn, how did you write the scene so fast? You know, it's like, so you got to take a stand.
Right, so that's Dave Chappelle from Oprah. Some years ago, I think this is after he left and went to Africa. When he left the Chappelle show and left $50 million on the table, that was a huge event at the time. And to me, it seems like ever since he said that on Oprah, that sort of conspiracy theory exists. To me, I don't look at it as a racial thing because everybody, to me, every male comedian just about wears a dress. You know, I watched Saturday Night Live when I was a kid. Will Ferrell used to dress up as Janet Reno, Mike Myers, Dana Carvey, Chris Farley, you know, Jimmy Fallon, you know, my guy, what's his name, would dress up as Marge Schott, Phil Hartman. And, you know, just like, and it's not even just men either. A lot of women in Hollywood have dressed up as men. Gwyneth Paltrow, Tilda Swinton, Barbara Streisand played a woman pretending to be a man. Amanda Bynes, remember She's the Man. Hilary Swank won the Oscar for pretending to be, for dressing up as that woman who was pretending to be a man in, what movie was that? Boys Don't Cry. Never watched it. And Angelina Jolie has dressed up as a man as well. You know, as Robin Williams wore a dress, Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, Dustin Hoffman and Tootsie, Tom Hanks and Bosom Buddies, Patrick Swayze and John Leguizamo were in the dress with Wesley Snipes and Fu Manchu. Was that movie called Fu Manchu? Something Fu something. Kurt Russell's worn a dress. Michael J. Fox played his own daughter in Back to the Future. Johnny Depp has worn a dress. John Travolta in Hairspray. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger has worn a dress. Arnold Schwarzenegger played a woman in Junior. So that was pretty hilarious. But to me, like, the story more than anything is the conspiracy theories that sort of fester in our community that come because we don't have wealth. You know, I hate to sound like a record, but a lot of the problems that we see in the black community come down to not having collective wealth as a community. because we don't own the media and control our own images, that's how you end up with these type of conspiracy theories about, you know, how only black comedians got to wear a dress. And, you know, it's not really true. It's not factually true, but it feels true because, again, black people are always in a state of being vulnerable because we don't own or control our image in this country. That's how you end up with the Willie Lynch conspiracies and the conspiracies about rap music, about how, well, we wanted to fill prisons and so we started making rap music for people. All these are stories that come about because the black community has no wealth. And because we have no wealth, we don't control our own culture and media and what goes out into the world. And that is one of the reasons why I support reparations and use this platform to talk about reparations so often. Because this is what happens when you don't have your own wealth, your own media, which we should. Like, a lot of people genuinely don't understand that how big the wealth gap is between whites and blacks in this country. A quarter of the white households in America are worth $1 million or more. 4% of the black households in America are worth $1 million or more. There's over 700 billionaires in America. Black people are 13% of the population. That 14% of the population. That means we should have about 80 billionaires. 80 billionaires. We have 10. We're like 1% of the billionaires. One or 2% of the billionaires, in spite of being 13. So even the black wealthy class, a lot of people like to bring Oprah up and Tyler Perry up and LeBron James or Michael Jordan or somebody. I say, look, there are so few black billionaires in this country that we practically know all of them by their first names. Think about that. There are so few black billionaires in this country that we virtually know all of them by their first name. Meanwhile, you have white billionaire hedge managers walking around New York City on a daily basis. Nobody even knows who the hell they are. They could walk into McDonald's. They could walk into any McDonald's, any Burger King in America, and would nobody even know them. They could just put a baseball cap on and some sweats or something. Nobody would even know or care who the hell they are. It's like Chris Rock said all those years ago. He said, you know, I live in a neighborhood with like Mary J. Blige and all these rich, famous, and accomplished black people. And he said, you know who else lives in our neighborhood? A Jewish dentist. He's just a dentist. That's it. It's me, Mary J. Blige, and a bunch of rich, famous black people, and a dentist. Most of our dentists probably live pretty hood adjacent. They may not live in the hood, but they live pretty hood adjacent. They're within short driving distance of the hood, wherever they are. They are certainly not living where Chris Rock and Mary J. Blige and those people do. And so these types of conspiracy theories, these beliefs about some nefarious cabal of people who are, you know, making black men wear dresses and you know, forcing people to listen to rap music to make black kids shoot each other in the face or something. This is what's going to happen as long as we do not have the wealth to control our own image and our own cultural exports. like hip hop, like R&B, like jazz, like the blues, whatever. And so to me, that's the story behind a lot of this. That's the story behind the story right there. You know, and it is important to talk about that, because the more I've looked into this over the years, the more I realize how delusional it is to believe that black people solely on our own volition can get out of this economic deficit that we are in America. No, America has put us in a 400-year economic deficit. Almost 3 centuries of slavery, 100 years of Jim Crow and the black codes, 80, 90 years of redlining and housing discrimination, leaving black people out of the New Deal legislation that basically built the white middle class in this country. Roosevelt had to leave us out. And so the majority of black people did not benefit, at least not directly, from the New Deal, though I will say a lot of black people benefited from being in labor unions and the sort of labor power that the New Deal wrought, because black people are the people most likely to be in unions in America. It's one of the reasons why I say God bless the working class, God bless organized labor. But directly, no, black people were not allowed to directly benefit from a lot of the New Deal programs that allowed whites to build generational wealth for their families. We have a war on drugs and a prison industrial complex that was aimed solely at the black community by people like Richard Nixon. We have tapes. I've played them on this show of Richard Nixon likening black people to dogs. Literally calling black people, saying black people live like dogs. Him and Ronald Reagan laughing about black people looking like monkeys who are uncomfortable wearing shoes. Played that phone call between Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan. These are the people who started the war on drugs and mass incarceration. People who worked with Richard Nixon in the 70s specifically said, we started the war on drugs to disrupt black communities. That's why we did it. And Reagan helped Nicaraguan drug cartels flood our communities with cocaine in the 80s, spurring the crack epidemic and mass incarceration and the catastrophic murder rates that we saw places like here in Gary and Chicago and LA and everywhere else in the 80s. This is what happens when you have an economic deficit like we have due to 400 years of class warfare against our community, economically, politically, and through the legal justice system. Most people's wealth is tied up in their homes. Black people, specifically, like I said, were cut out of the New Deal legislation that built the working class. Not only that, redlined into communities where our homes would not accumulate wealth and accumulate value. That's how people send their kids to college. That's how people open businesses, with the wealth from their homes. Black people were not allowed to do that. Our homes are always worth a lot less, thanks to redlining. And so when your homes are worth less, then that means that the social service, public services in your community are worth less. The garbage pickup, the public schools, the potholes, all this, there's lesser tax base. This is economic warfare. That is economic warfare, folks. That is what it is. And not having the type of media, we don't own commercial real estate either. That's another thing. We don't own commercial real estate. We don't have the wealth. It's not just a matter of Tyler Perry or Beyonce and Jay-Z helping a brother or sister out. We don't have it. They are drastically outnumbered. Even if they wanted to help drag as many black people up, they just don't have it. It's only 10 of them. Compared with like 600 white ones. It's only a few of them. And then you have guys like Ice Cube and Byron Allen who have tried to start their own media, major media companies who've been denied the opportunity. Byron Allen is suing right now because he's being discriminated against. Ice Cube has to threaten the NBA because the NBA has gone after him. Even the NBA has gone after Ice Cube. You know, these dudes are facing resistance in everything they're doing. They made sure Master P's Black Family Television didn't take off. This is one of the reasons why it really was death. When Robert Johnson sold his company to Viacom, that was death on us. It really was. Tyler Perry's trying to buy BET back. They won't let him. They won't let Tyler Perry, a billionaire, buy BET. And so now we get the conspiracy theories. And we get all these bizarre beliefs that have some basis in the type of inequality and injustice that we've experienced. Well, all right, folks. That was a good one. When we come back, we're not done with Katt Williams. Oh, no. He had some stuff to say about our next topic, or at least leading into the next topic. So when we come back, we're going to get into the Epstein list and all the politicians, the people who run our country who are on it. That number is 219-885-1371. That number again, 219-885-1371. We'll be right back after these.